the purpose piece is an interesting one. I think, I was thinking about it the other day. I think we're probably the only species that asks that question. What's my purpose? And I think there's a clue in that, right? When we look at other species, particularly species I spend a lot of time with, whales and bees and even the garden, every plant, there's a blueprint in each of those beings as they come into the world, and they're never questioning, what am I here for? They know they're here to fully express the gifts that they have. And so it's interesting. I think there's different perceptions and perspectives of what purpose is. Joseph Campbell said, follow your bliss. And Andrew Harvey, the Rumi poet expert, he says, follow your heartbreak. Find the thing that just breaks your heart and follow that. Dear friend of mine in the U.S., movement master Paul Chek said, find the thing that you would give your life for and live your life for it. So everybody's got different perspectives. And, I think what I love is when I see people that I know that I would say they're living their purpose, it's not attached to a career. It's not attached to the job. It's more the way they're expressing who they are in the world in all moments. And it expresses itself through the job, and it expresses itself through the career, but it's not like, once I started my job as the journalist, then I found my purpose. It's like, wow, who I am is the expression of my purpose, my reason for being here. And then our life gives us all sorts of opportunities to express that in different missions, as you said, and different phases of our career, which do require commitment, right? But I really love also the other thing is I was thinking about commitment as you were talking about throwing the hat over the wall and burning the boat. And I noticed this in the garden. There's a couple lessons I got around commitment with the garden. First of all, I noticed for years and years, I grew gardens just on the edge of our field, little garden beds, on the edge of our field. And at that time, it was quite synonymous. At the time, I was doing work out in the world, but the things that I really, really cherished the most, like my dreams, I was kind of growing them on the edge as hobbies on the outside, And I had a permaculture expert come to our house one day to kind of walk my land with me. And he was, I wanted to see what, how could we make the most of our land? And he walked around and he's like, oh yeah, these are cool. This is cool. The way you got all these veggies growing on the outskirts here. That's interesting. And I said, well, if this was your land, what would how could we make the most? He goes, well, right now you're growing some food, but if you want to grow your food, like if you want to grow your food, like build a food production hub here that will feed your family for generations, I'd be building your garden right here. And he was standing right in the middle of our field. And while he was there, he etched out this 12 by 12 meter, square, which was basically right in the middle of our field. And when he left, I thought, wow, that's an interesting reflection on my life. Like, what would it look like if I put my dreams and passions, the things that I hold the closest to me, not on the edge of life when I got a little bit of time, but right in the middle of the field. And it's really been part of the process as we've been growing the garden there. I've been moving things that have been sitting in the edge into the center, and it's more risk, right? It's more exposed.
Yeah.
It can be seen.
Yeah.
And that's where the sunshine is.
Right.